The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Speaking podcast coming to you Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. It is the Student Report after the 2-week absence. The man, Kyle F. Nash, with a beard, actually.
Man, can you stop talking that up, bro? This is me being a damn bum. You know, not even. By the way, let me be among the last to wish Earnestly Speaking's audience out there a happy Thanksgiving, because Douchey McDouchey here completely skipped over me on Tuesday. Didn't even give me so much as a text. I mean, eventually got around to a happy Thanksgiving on Thursday, which is cool. No, I saw you out there. You made time for Zach/Towley to pod with him. Meanwhile, my ass is apparently chopped liver suddenly as a student of the game, the actual good football reporting you have on this podcast, and I get this. It is what it is. This is why I have an actual Giants fan this past week on the Student of the Game podcast in the form of the Fae Princess herself, Danielle Orsino. But that's cool. Vengeance is mine, motherfucker. What? I don't see. This is what's so great about our opens, man. I could come out of any field. Anyways, man.
Did you get it out? You feel good? You feel good?
No, if I was really trying to let stuff loose, I'd talk about being oppressed by Notre Dame fans over the weekend, but that's a separate conversation.
Oh, that's another conversation. We'll get to that in a second with our college football segment, because obviously we are at the end of the season now. Conference championship weekend's upon us and all that, and the playoff is right around the corners. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's start here first. Did you watch last night's game? Browns-Broncos game last night?
I watched enough of it to get the gist of it. Man, how is it so easy to like and make fun of a quarterback in the NFL, and yet Jameis Winston's that guy, man? Listen, the performance, probably easily his best performance as a Brown. I don't think that's a conversation.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but
no.
Reverting back to true Tampa Bay Buccaneer form and having a great game, including the parts where he threw it to the other team for more completions, right? And then the post game of God deliver me from pick sixes. Fuck, bro. Like, that's funny. He goes out and gives Bo Nix love after the game. That's classy as hell. I mean, listen, I know as a student at FSU, there was some checkered stuff, but to see him do that now as an adult shows he's, a guy who's trying to show some class, man.
It's been 10 years since all that stuff happened, man.
That's why I mentioned him growing up, dude. I'm showing respect. I'm throwing them flowers, man. Listen, he's easily the lesser evil compared to the former starting quarterback out there in Cleveland. Facts of the case. I know I'm setting the bar low there, EJ, but that doesn't change my answer.
It does not at all. I have to confess though, I missed the last drive of the game because I was a little under a substance last night, and
you had an edible and you were talking to Zach, or at least fantasizing about it.
No, I'd had an edible, and I was and the high literally hit about in the fourth quarter. So
I love the part where the part of that dish you're embarrassed about is me bringing up Zach. That's fucking great. He'll open. Oh yeah, it was an edible, but. He knows out of his way to distance himself from
because Zach wouldn't care, because Zach would say, "Yep, guilty as charged." So,
oh no, listen. I don't hate Zach. I know it sounds like that. The only thing I hate is that he's apparently openly afraid of me and will never pod with me again, and that's okay.
Well, he comes on the show Wednesdays, and you're doing your show Wednesdays. So
no, I don't want to hear that.
No.
We used to annually. We used to annually rate quarterbacks in the offseason on non-Wednesdays, and he's refused to do that, and then decided to talk schmack about the Jags as if I'm a fan, which I'm not. I just cover them on the Duval Dive. And then talk smack through you. Doesn't even give me the time of day enough to talk smack to me directly. I'm just saying. Like, listen,
You say a lot.
I do say a lot.
You say a lot.
But he doesn't say anything to me, and that's the point.
Yeah,
I'm wounded, EJ Chris.
I would hope at some point, the connection that we have between you two now is Orlando Magic. He's a big Magic fan, and you cover the team.
I wouldn't know. Never going to talk to me. That's funny.
Oh, what a dick. Broncos win again. They're 8-5.
Yeah, listen. How about Sean Payton is DJ Khaled up in this bitch, right?
I got to call famous fade, man. I was one of those Sean Payton haters last year, like, who was pissed off the way he handled Russell Wilson. But you know what? I guess both parties really won in the end. I mean,
Sean Payton, they though?
Yeah, they did.
We've had this conversation, and I think I made this as a reference too. There are times when transactions help both sides, right? Clinton Portis and Champ Bailey were a thing. Okay, both sides won, right? Now, does it happen often? Probably not. But I'll never appreciate nor forgive not only how Sean Payton treated him, but how the NFL at large, the community of the NFL treated him. Former teammates throwing him under the bus. And listen, I'm not here to say that Russell Carrington Wilson's a saint, but maybe he's also not the devil. How about that shit, right?
Yeah.
Somebody signed a bad contract. Looking at you, Denver. Somebody brought in a coach that couldn't do the job, and then ended up getting a game ball for beating the mess that he made when he was a Jets coach. But separate conversation. I'm getting off track. Mm-hmm. Rusty, he got overpaid, man. And that happens when you can't. Expectations are the thief of joy, and often are they accurately criminally accused of such.
Yeah. So on the Denver side of things, 8-5 right now, currently the 7th seed in a wild card playoff race there in the AFC. It looks like it's a wrap there. We'll talk about the playoff picture in a second.
Right.
I want to ask you about Bo Nix, because most of the season, or all season long, we've been saying Jane Daniels runaway rookie of the year, runaway. I think there could be an argument now that Bo Nix is entering the chat now. I'm not saying he's the front runner right now, but certainly there's got to be a conversation about Bo Nix now in his last couple of weeks, especially to making a run here, and with Jane Daniels also tailing off of it too, also due to injury. That I think Bo Nix should at least be considered offensive rookie of the year. Your thoughts?
In no universe, when you're talking strictly candidacy, can you nix Bo at this point, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you a couple things worthy of consideration. By the way, Jane Daniels' situation, not necessarily a great one, but he has weapons. Scary Terry, at the receiver doing his thing. Yeah. Brian Robinson has some good weapons, some good surrounding cast. Probably the weakest O-line that's been with the Commanders in a long time, but still nonetheless, I mean, not a bad team. But by the way, the fact he's coming in as a quarterback of color to revitalize a franchise being associated with having a slur for a nickname. And yes, I'm air quoting slur because how much of a slur it is a point of controversy to some people,
right?
But the fact that he's coming in as a quarterback of color, I only bring that up because that's in the background and they're in the middle of trying to revitalize and revamp the image of that franchise, and yet they refuse to call themselves the Red Tails. That's a separate conversation of how stupid that was. But
it was
then yeah. Well, we've talked about this plenty on this show and also the Student of the Game podcast. And listen, I had an actual PR person in the form of Karita Parks, the 3-point conversions, Karita Parks, and also a Bowie TV, who now covers the Ravens. But at the time, she was covering the Red Tails. Sorry, Commanders. And I had her on as a PR exec and said how much of a missed opportunity. And I don't think she's agreed with me any harder on a topic than that. But let's get back on track. We don't want to nix Bo here. I get it that Sean Payton's the coach. It's argued that Jane Daniels has revitalized Cliff Kingsbury as the OC there with the Redskins with Dan Quinn as the head coach. Sorry, Red Tails. Sorry, Commanders. I'm a hot mess, EJ Christian.
Aren't you? Always.
But listen. I get my best inspiration from my favorite trumper, EJ Christian. Good job, Eagles Jaworski.
Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
Too late. But with with Payton, Sean Payton coaching the way that he is, that team getting production from players that were left for dead a while ago, looking at you, especially last night, Jerry Jeudy, right? in a division that isn't a power vacuum. Patrick LaVon Mahomes II, Travis Michael Kelsey, and Chris, soon to be middle name Guy Jones here. Who knows? Whether you know what, that might be something I do on the Huddle Up podcast here soon enough. I might actually present Chris Jones's name for 3-name treatment, but we'll get into that another time. You'll check that out on Tuesday nights. But boy, that was a hell of a promo. Hashtag talent.
It really was. It was.
Bo Nix has to be in the conversation because he's in a tougher division, I think, right? We've talked about the power vacuum. Now the Eagles have gotten their crap together of late. More on that later. For them to not look like they're falling apart the way they were maybe this time, call it 4 weeks ago, a month ago, right?
Yeah.
But the Broncos flirting with playoff contention, I think, was the ceiling for what Bo Nix and company can do. And these Humpy Bumpies, if they keep right, might actually make the damn thing. Now, granted, other AFC teams mightily disappointing are a factor looking at you, Cincinnati. More on that later. But this is good that you give me notes for this segment. I can drop more on that later than ever before. But
yeah, I like that. I like that.
The conversation. The point is, you can't nix Bo from the conversation. That's a fact of the case, man.
It's clear. It's a two-man race now. It's no longer a runaway for Jay Daniels at this point. I think we agree with that.
So
right now, I'll say for context purposes, real quick. Right now, as this morning, I'll give you what the betting markets are right now. Right now, Hard Rock has Jane Daniels minus 250 as the MVP, rookie of the year rather, and Bo Nix number 2 at plus 180. So it's tight. That'll be tightening up.
I'm not mad at it.
So the next guy in line is Brock Bowers at plus 1100. So it's a two-man race here.
Brock Bowers, really?
That's my point.
We've already forgotten friggin' Malik Neighbors. I get why you forgot BTJ is because the Jacksonville Jaguars have forgotten quarterback. More on that later.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then also Marvin Harrison Jr. was getting his hype there too, and I'm sure that'll be a hell of a segue here soon enough.
Plus 10,000, but yeah, based on the betting markets, it has these are the two guys that right now.
Listen, if you're a quarterback and you're making a team relevant, you're already in the fast track. That's duh.
Both guys doing virtually the same thing on their respective teams right now.
But they're not. That's what I'm trying to tell you here, Earnest Christian. They're not the same thing, right? What's the competition in the NFC East? The Eagles.
The Eagles, right?
And they ain't no mo other than that, right? And still, the fact that Daniels got injured is, let's be honest, his health is going to be the biggest stumbling block at this point, right?
Yeah, correct.
Whereas Bo Nix is battling Patrick LaVon Mahomes II, Justin Herbert, and okay, the Raiders blow, but Harbaugh is revitalizing the Chargers in similar fashion. As much as we talk about the NFC North as a division that's going to send 3 teams to the playoffs, you can't rule out the AFC West at this juncture because the South is sending 1 team, right?
Yep.
The East is sending 1 team.
Oh yeah. We
might live in a world where the rest of the teams come from the West and North.
Not the Raiders. Not the Raiders.
No, I don't mean the entire. I didn't mean to imply the entirety of the division.
Okay.
Again, may I once again reiterate that I in fact said just moments ago, the Raiders blow. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, did somebody put a blunt trauma to that shiny, sexy head of yours? What happened?
Right now, it looks like the rest of them take 3 teams, but more on that later because we're going to cover the locks of the playoffs right now.
Gosh, I need to stop doing that so much. That hurts when you do it after like the 5th time.
The later? Macho Man later?
Yeah. That's what she said. Fine. Shall we move on?
Obviously,
brother, it's gonna be later. Oh yeah, later. More on that later. Right?
Obviously, the game of the week was the Eagles and Ravens game. Eagles win that game. Look, no one's. I'm not really surprised they win the game. People call
that game. Listen, that was going to be a close football game. We all knew that, right. And all sorts of crazy stuff happened, like the whole fumble situation, and then Jalen Hurts still picks it up and scores the touchdown.
Yeah,
like bro, I'm not trying to say that the Eagles didn't earn the win in the football game. Let's not, before any Eagles fans start getting all hurt, they did a. What's that?
It's a row.
Well, I mean, they still can't handle the fact they only scrambled past the Niners a few years back because they were
can't
down to
handle
their
the
riches.
truth.
Hey, I'm going full Nathan R. Jessup up in this bitch. But listen, what I am saying is the Eagles have played superior football in the back half of their season so far than they did up front. I don't think that's deniable. And part of it is this Georgia defense experiment finally starting to work a little bit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
So,
I think that's the most underrated part of this whole turnaround is because Saquon gets his followers, rightly so. Jalen Hurts has played better.
Rightly
football.
so.
Receivers are healthy. But to me, it's the defense that's been the separator between, them being as good as they are in the last 8-9 weeks.
Right. Between the first and second halves of the year. No question. And I get it. The good news for the Ravens is I feel like their distribution of run and pass play was relatively even. 36 passes, 32 runs. Okay, you can't accuse them of being afraid to run the football. But here's the problem. They got Jalen Carter and a whole lot of other good guys up front to make that a tough endeavor. Right? Yeah. So, and Saquon got his. Derrick Henry got his, just not to the same extent. Okay? When you really break it down, you can make it as an argument per rush, even though Saquon averages more yards per game in the football game. 22 for, let me math real quick, 22 for 82 if you take out his longest run versus 18 for 61. That's basically what it comes down to for me. What I typically do is take out the longest run by a runner,
right? Of course,
and see that impact, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And similarly with Lamar, he's 7 for 40 if you take out his 39-yarder. That's not great, Bob, but it's not bad per se, right? Listen, here's the problem with contexts that feature two different teams. Somebody's got to lose unless they tie, Very so true. This was a game that was real hard to pick. I'll be honest, I forgot what I picked. I would have to go back and listen to the Student of the Game podcast that I did with Danielle Orsino, the Fey Princess of Football. But by the way, how about this? Hey, just as an aside, I wish there were some Giants fans on this panel, but did you hear Danielle present the concept that she would have loved to see Danny Dimes end up in an Eagles uniform as a backup?
Throw up my mouth.
but the psychology is genius, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad fit comparing his style of play to Jalen Hurts.
I actually think it's a good fit because of Jalen Hurts, exactly.
Hey, maybe that's what makes you throw up in your mouth a little bit. I'm sorry, Eagles Jaworski, you don't have to like Dimes in your team's colors. Sorry, you're a Cowboys fan. My bad.
Calm down.
Go Red Tails.
What? Are you comfortable? If I told you right this second, right now, based on these teams right now, rank the 3 best teams in the NFC right now, how would it go for you?
Rank the 3 best teams in the NFC
right now.
Sheesh. I mean,
in order.
God, this is harder, and we're going power ranking style, right? I'm not just pulling open NFL.com and going, well, I mean, obviously number 1 is the Lions, right? Even you have that right on Tool Time, which you can see on the Huddle Up podcast. But I'm getting so good with that bell, EJ Christian.
You are. I love the bell.
But here's where I hesitate to answer that. First of all, okay, screw hesitation. Let's just go with it. So the Lions are obviously number 1, right? And I'm not just saying that for threat of my kneecaps getting bit, right? The Lions, big moments, small moments, whatever moments, have stepped up pretty well this year. I don't think that is currently debatable, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not prepared to put the Eagles in that second spot, but I kind of have to. You know what I mean? Because I don't take
in the NFC, right?
Right. I don't take the Vikings seriously yet, and I haven't for a while. And I've explained why. Granted, Vikings fans, cool your butt. All right. I think you're still a good team and all in the NFC. What you forget is that's also a low bar. I mean, I can make an argument that the top 3 teams are all in the NFC North. But my other problem is if we're going hubba, 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 money, 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 who can you trust? I don't trust the Packers and Jordan Love 100% yet either. Love is not Brett Favre, but he's shown Favrean tendencies, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of a gunslinger up in this humpy bumpy.
Green Bay's a big wild card in the whole situation. I think Green Bay is a massive wild card because I was the one that said earlier in the year that 10 green toes down. And while I believe I can still see them in the NFC title game, I'm not as certain about that now because I think
7 green toes down, 8 green toes down.
Maybe yeah. I mean, there's still a scenario they can get into the title game depending.
Which one, Ernest Christian? Get off the fence and give me 7 or 8 toes.
I'm gonna go 6.
Yeah, you bitch.
I'm gonna go 6. No, because what's happened now,
I hear you though.
Certain teams are starting to pull away now. Certain teams have risen to the occasion now. I will say though the trek is a little bit easier. I want to see that Minnesota Green Bay game again. Second time around. That's how that plays out. But it feels like a 3-team race, a 2-team race right now at the top, with possibly.
I'll put the Vikings in because I was going to shock the world and say team number 3 is the Red Tails. Sorry, Commanders. But with Jane Daniels' health being what it is right now, I can't do that with good measure either. Are they a top 5 team in the conference? Oh, sure. Absolutely. But Kyle, the Seahawks are atop the NFC West. Okay, that division sucks. Yeah. All right? I'm just going to say it. That division sucks. And you snuck by the Jets to get to the top of that, whereas the Cardinals almost took that spot over you by beating a Vikings team, except Kyler Murray forgot what to do with the ball as a quarterback on not only one of the most horrible interceptions I've seen lately that doesn't involve Brett Favre or Mark Sanchez, but rather, and then at the end of the game, if they score a touchdown, they finish it off, and instead they only come away with 3 points. If you're Kyler Murray, you're supposed to be this good. That should not happen, and it did. And that is how that game was won by the Vikings. What is it? The stat is for Coach O'Connell, for Kevin O'Connell. He's 8-2. Mm-hmm. No. It's 1-score games, and I forget what the record is, but it's definitely great, Bob. I wish I remembered the number. I feel like an idiot now. But the punchline is they don't lose close games there, typically in Minnesota. Now, is the problem that they have too many close games, especially involving teams that shouldn't be on their caliber if they're supposed to be getting double-digit wins, alleging to be top teams in the conference and be Super Bowl contenders? Maybe. But, yeah, I guess by technicality, I have to put the Vikings third simply because I don't trust this conference worth a damn.
Yeah. Ravens, panic meter. Where's it at for you? They're 8-5 right now.
Yeah, and you're bringing this up because I commented on it on the student of the game. But they're still making the playoffs, right? Like,
oh yeah, not a question.
What are you defining as panic? What are we panicking about?
So the expectations of the Ravens obviously is to
some idiots picked them to win the Super Bowl. I don't know what absolutely handsome dumbass would do that.
Both of us.
I said handsome. Oh wait, that can't mean me. Shit, you're right. I do mean you.
No. Yeah.
See, yeah. I mean, if you're a Ravens fan and you were thinking that your ticket to ride, as I implied in my own predictions this season, when we did the simulcast at the beginning of the season, I'm too lazy for a bell. Bing! Okay, like you'd be concerned, right? At least from the standpoint of them making a Super Bowl. They're still going to be a playoff team. I think they're still going to be in the tournament. How panicked can you really get about them missing the playoffs when the Giants and the Browns are 2 of your remaining 4 games and a Texans team that has not looked particularly
underwhelmed.
Great? Yeah, they were supposed to be Super Bowl contenders, I was told, and they are not. I mean, honestly, listen. America on the 21st, even though there's Christmas football, America on December 21st is getting the actual Christmas gift from the NFL of the Steelers hosting the Ravens in the NFL's current best rivalry. Hashtag I said it. And that's the last hard game, I think, that remains for the Ravens. And before our good friend Mike the Bernier of the Huddle Up podcast comes on and says, well, I thought this was supposed to be easy games. Yes, I would be disappointed in the Baltimore Ravens if they lost to the Texans in Week 17. But theoretically, by then, they should still be able to beat the Browns, get the 10 games, make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, and again, the season's going the way I thought it'd go anyway. I had the Ravens being a wild card team anyway and winning the Super Bowl through as a wild card. I didn't have them win the division at all.
Yeah, that matches you more. Right.
The only difference is that I had the Bengals win the division, not the Steelers. So that's the only difference between the scenarios there. But
I don't remember. I think I had the Steelers missing the playoffs, but they were competing for it. But God bless America.
They always are. As
good as Rusty's doing, and he's doing good, credit to some extent should go to Justin Fields and Mike Tomlin coaching them and guiding them through the ship for those first, whatever it was, 3 to 6 games, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and listen, rumors of Rusty being cooked were obviously wildly outblown. Like we tried to tell people, this is the part I have to remind Mike Bernier about, that he was wrong, but doesn't want to talk about suddenly. Just like he suddenly isn't bringing up, a Bengals corner mauling a dude for a pick 6 and no flag being even considered. But we don't have to talk about that.
And this is the problem between bringing personal feelings versus actual analysis. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you bring that up. You make bad takes all the time trying to support one of your 27,000 teams that you cheer for. So
I hate you.
I hate you, Tim. I hate you, Tim.
At least I own my takes. The Jets, Browns going to playoffs this year, horrible takes, obviously.
Bro, listen, you screwed that so bad. There's pictures of it on OnlyFans, okay?
Allegedly.
Listen, no one's judging. You got to do what you can to make money. You got 2 kids. I'm mad at you.
Allegedly.
You allegedly have 2 kids? Is there a conversation you need to have with Lauren?
No. The thing, what I'm concerned about with the Ravens more so than anything else is bigger picture. I still think they're on par with the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Bills rather, and all those teams. I still think they're on par. I just think that they just number one, let's put it this way: Justin Tucker having a bad game. I'm not saying they lost because of him, but I will say those misses certainly definitely changed the momentum of those games of that game on Sunday. Rather, like you heard that stadium deflate with every miss there because they had momentum up 9-0 in that first half, and then he missed that PAT, and all of a sudden, little by little, you started hearing every miss he had, it became more deflated, and Philadelphia got more momentum out of that. And to me, I think Baltimore's fine. I think they're still on level with those teams, but there's some concerning things there. The defense obviously being, the passing is being horrendous. Oh, that wasn't really a massive issue this week. But I just there's still holes there that we got to worry about there. And I think with Lamar, he didn't have the greatest game in the world either. So this is
we're gonna do that. We're gonna play the blame Lamar.
No. I didn't say blame him. I said he had the greatest game in the world. That's all.
He had a better game than Jalen Hurts. What the fuck about it?
But that is credit also to the Eagles defense, though. That's also give credit to where credit's due. The Eagles defense did their job.
So I mean, you can't stop L. Jack. You can only hope to contain him. If that's your argument, I guess. But how the hell are we talking about Lamar Jackson when Jalen Hurts was 11 for 19 for 118?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, when the answer to that question is at least he didn't turn the goddamn ball over. I mean, okay.
I mean, Eagles did the job. They did to contain him. I mean, like I say, he didn't have a bad game.
And in fairness, too, like the real correct answer to that, EJ Christian, is Saquon in a good portion of this football game as well. Let's be clear about that, right? I hear what you're saying, too, about missed stuff from – listen, there was a day I used to say that Justin Tucker is a bad mother shut your mouth, and, that Richard Roundtree should be cast in the biopic on his life. I'm actually joking. I think it's Samuel L. Jackson who should be. But it's a shaft joke, EJ. Come on. I know you're – but you can dig it. See, you missed the opportunity. This is how people know you're a Trumper. You're the demographic that you are, and you missed the opportunity.
We're still doing something.
You missed the opportunity. You missed the opportunity to land the plane as a host of color referencing Shaft, and you blew it. Like, you can't even go to the barbecue anymore. He doesn't even have it. He doesn't. doesn't even have an answer for that. Like, I wouldn't play spades anytime soon. Let me tell you, you're gonna have problems.
You have your black cards, okay? Don't feel per my conversation with my wife this morning, I think I deserve that. Actually, to be honest, you after
make sure you send her to this clip.
Yeah, I'm gonna send her this clip definitely. I'm joking around though. I'm having fun. I want to pin two teams here quick here.
Yeah,
as officially cooked. The Niners, your Niners, and then the Bengals. Cooked.
As I remind the world that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, I will quote it currently. Welcome to the party, pal. How many weeks ago did I drop that on the show? It can't be last week. I wasn't invited. So it's at least 2 weeks old, your shitty take, okay?
Here's the issue. Here's what bogs my mind with the Niners, though, too, also. If Seattle loses that game to the Jets, which they should have, but, Jets.
No, the Jets jetted. The Seahawks should not have lost that game. If the Seahawks lost that game, that is a disappointment for the Seahawks.
Everything went Niners' way in terms of the schedule. If Seattle lost that game. Well,
hold on. Whoa.
No, never mind. Never mind. Rams did win. I apologize. Rams did win on Sunday. I forgot about that.
Also, this bullshit of going the Niners' way on the schedule. Nah, fuck all that noise. What are you talking about?
No, I was saying that all the teams lost in the division, but they did not. I apologize about that.
Oh, okay. So it's just more.
I was saying they're still the game out. They're not game out.
More football takes from an alleged basketball expert who's getting overshadowed by me. Got it.
Okay, your thoughts on this.
You hate that, so you big man.
I'm always big mad. I'm always big mad though. I'm always big mad.
Yeah, right.
But the Niners, yeah. I after the Sunday, I mean, it's just not body.
Especially with news of the McCaffrey PCL issues, right?
Yeah.
We haven't, as we're recording this, we haven't heard the official version on that. But
they're saying 6 weeks. I heard as yesterday. But
good God,
that's 5 weeks to go in the season.
That's the fucking season.
That's the assumption makes the playoffs and make it to the wild card. I mean, it's cooked. They're cooked. The Bengals, especially too. It's funny. Joe Burrow.
You should have said they were cooked because then Mikey Byrne couldn't blame you for jinxing his team.
Joe Burrow. If the Bengals are even remotely in playoff contention, Joe Burrow is an MVP candidate right now.
Why shouldn't he be one now?
Because they're losing.
Okay, but it's a team sport, and the MVP is
There's no way. There's no.
You could say he's a candidate, though.
I mean, he's playing.
Listen, some of us got it right in 2017 and 2019 when it came to Russell Carrington Wilson. You can be that guy. You can be smart. It's allowed.
So Joe Burrow,
it's not expected, but it's allowed.
So Joe Burrow right now is plus 7,500 for MVP. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Name some people ahead of him if you don't mind.
Okay, sure. So here's the order: Josh Allen 1, Saquon Barkley 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Jared Goff 4, Pat Mahomes.
Shut the entire fuck up.
Yeah, Mahomes.
You're going to try to tell me Jared Goff is more valuable to the Lions than Joe Burrow is to the Bengals? Fuck right off. Next question.
Patty Mahomes 6, 5.
That's ridiculous. 6. It's Chris Jones is actually the correct answer in Kansas City, but go ahead.
Jalen Hurts 6, Justin Herbert 7.
What the? Whoa! What?
I'm bothered at him being right there with Justin Herbert. I think Herbert has a better case than Jalen.
Jalen Hurts getting votes is bullshit. What are we doing?
Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Which I argue that's not a bad one.
To be honest, both Darnold and Mayfield make sense.
Yeah, over Jalen Hurts too, especially.
I mean, I get it. I know people would be like, Mikhail, Justin Jefferson, and you'd have a point, but Baker Mayfield is a good point.
Yeah,
man.
Burrow's a 12. Yeah.
Burrow should at least be a top 10 candidate, and I'm okay with that. If he's 10th, that's fine. At least he's getting acknowledgement for an individual award and not being held back by team performance, which
It would be cute though that Burrow would get some consideration, but it's not gonna. 4-8 team ain't gonna happen. You know that. Come on now.
Oh yeah, no. I listen. I'm gonna speak my own truth. That is the actual truth of the world, and not a bunch of bitches like the NFL media that gave the goddamn comeback player of the year award to Joe Flacco. Oh, fucking died. So please tell me who's more credible, EJ Christian. Moving on.
Moving on. You mentioned the Cardinals-Vikings game. Why?
Well, bro, you keep telling me about hubba, money, who do you trust? And I made my comments about Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
But now do you understand This game embodies my questions about the Vikings. Don't you have them too?
This is weird. This team is 10-2.
Who the fuck cares? Listen, I know Giants fans and Cowboys fans like yourself who had Bill Parcells as the head coach for a minute will quote the "you are what your record says you are," and it's total horseshit. Okay? If you are what your record says you are, then why does everybody complain about Doug Peterson having too much talent to be, 2-10 at this point?
Yeah.
Okay? I don't want to hear that fucking noise. Moreover, we've already seen the Vikings as a 13-win team be disappointments. Giants fans would remember, certainly Saquon Barkley fans would remember, as he was once again robbed of the MVP in 2022, like he's probably about to be upcoming, but we'll leave that at that. By the way, Brian Daboll, still not coach of the year 2022. Shut the fuck up.
Fuck you. Go ahead.
Oh, boy, you big man. Look at it. Nathan, wait, I'm getting a call. Yeah, the Colonel says you can't handle the truth. Shit.
So, yeah.
No, but listen, we've seen precedent for the Vikings being somewhat fraudulent.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you will about the fraud cons. More on that later. But at days end, I'm not in a place where I'm confident in the Vikings. They'll make the playoffs because the NFC sucks. We talked about that in other years as well. But no, man.
Yeah. I'm not. Look, I would put obviously Lions ahead of them, Eagles ahead of them.
If you want to put Coach KOC in the Coach of the Year conversation, I'm mad at that.
I'm willing to have that conversation, definitely. In fact, he probably should be in the conversation of that. I'm still
just like Justin Jefferson should be in the MVP conversation over Sam Darnold, but okay.
I'm still on the fence whether or not they're better than Washington. I don't know.
At full strength. And this is what I mean by the swinging of the pendulum. At full strength, the best team in the NFL is probably the Ravens or the Lions.
Right.
But not every week do they come out at their best strength.
High to powers, in other words, we use the term we use also too.
Well, the roof as opposed to the ceiling of their performance capabilities, yes.
In fact, I'll go. I sound like a hot take. I don't give a fuck. I'll say it anyway.
What would stop you now? You say all sorts of shit.
I'm not even sure there is clearly better than Tampa Bay.
Who are you talking about?
It's about Minnesota.
Tampa's
good.
The only pushback I'll give you is they're missing key players.
But they're getting the guys back now, though. Evans is back now.
I got to check when they're getting, if they got Vita Vea back, too. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
God, that guy's a hoss, man.
Isn't he? He really is. And I'm not hating on the Vikings. I mean, look, they've done their job. They've won. It's funny.
They're going to be a playoff team. They're going to outperform and overachieve for a team that lost their alleged starting quarterback and was retreading Darnold as a backup who's had basically no success. He's going to see his first playoff game with the Vikings. Credit should be bestowed to the Vikings for that. But let's pump the fucking brakes.
Yeah. What's about overall? Just make credit for what they've done. Again, we thought after they lost 2 in a row, okay, they've fallen to earth now. No, they won 5 in a row since then.
I don't even feel like it's fall to earth at that point. Nobody expected anything from the Vikings.
I know. I thought they would fall back to earth a little bit. And
you mean? Oh, I see what you're saying. I misunderstood you. I beg your pardon.
And then they won 5 in a row after they lost 2 in a row. That's
okay.
Granted, schedule. I mean, obviously, this team probably should.
Some things broke their way. The Niners being completely busted, for example, went their way.
But at the same time, though, we're talking about the Vikings as an upper echelon team. Are they a tier 1, tier 2 team? No, they're not.
They are not tier 1. You could argue tier 2. I wouldn't hold you against tier 2.
Definitely a tier 3 team. It's still my opinion. So
you're not even going to give me. You're not even going to give me tier 2B.
That's what you did. More on that later. Should the Jets bench for Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, what else is in the cupboard, EJ?
Who's their backup? Tyrod Taylor? I guess if you're benching Aaron Rodgers, you're doing that because you're trying to see what you have for the future or tank.
I think the reason you don't bench Aaron Rodgers is so you don't completely implode the locker room to levels that can make bad go to worse. But then the argument, and wisely put, would be, can it get worse than where the Jets are at right now?
That's
right?
the right answer. That's the right answer.
And if that's the case, then I see where you're arguing. But in benching Rodgers, what are you? By the way, good call by you. It is Tyrod. By benching Rodgers, I forgot Jordan Travis was even a Jet for that matter. Where are you at, Noler? Jesus. Anyways,
is he available? I mean,
I know I don't believe he is, but
right.
You and your pesky details. You could have at least mentioned it, Noler. Anyways,
yeah, Noler.
No, he's not available.
The Knowles right now are in my pass. I'll see you guys in September next year. Disaster.
Oh, well, I'll just let you know that Gus Malzahn's their offensive coordinator.
I saw that.
Yeah, no, I actually wrote about that preeminently with the blackandgoldbanneret.com. And also the blackandgoldbanneret.com team put out a good bit of articles there surrounding that move. And blackandgoldbanneret.com and Black and Gold Banneret YouTube channel are keeping you up to date on the UCF Knights coaching hunt there too. A lot of smart people are trying to tell me it's Jamie Chadwell, by the way, former Liberty/Coastal Carolina coach. And I listen, let me make it chanticleer that I'm going to bring that to Mike Bernier's attention. Hopefully he doesn't go postal when I talk about Coastal. So talent, bitch.
I get it. Dude's cooked. Rodgers is cooked.
Who's cooked?
Rodgers, he's cooked.
Yeah.
He'll make a throw here and there, but he can't fucking move anymore. And you can't make excuse anymore about he doesn't have any talent. He has Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams on that squad. I'm sorry. That on paper is a top 5-6 receiving squad in football. I don't want to hear shit about like he's having anybody to throw to. Bullshit.
Okay, hold on. I don't know that anybody's actually saying that right now. What is being said that's accurate is that O-line. Dog water.
Still bad.
So
the fact he's lasted this long is actually pretty amazing. Here's my question. Does he retire in a year? Because there's a lot of speculation about his future.
Define retire.
He's done for football. Like
define done from football.
Like he leaves, he retires, he goes away for good.
Because he's talking about joining the front office there.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Allegedly. Now I don't buy it either. I think it's more likely he becomes a Jeopardy host than that. But there's so much movement and strange whisperings with this Woody Johnson situation and as the top exec with the team, if he actually is tapped by your boy Donald Trump to be part of a cabinet, regardless of what side of your political affiliation actually is, that impacts operation with the Jets organization. And the reason why I don't think sitting Rodgers will happen is you at least want to have somebody that looks like a figurehead that's captaining the team in some form or fashion. Now, do you want it in the heads of somebody who's generally perceived as a loose cannon or unstable in certain matters of his leadership style? That's up to you. But I think that's the biggest reason you don't sit Rodgers is it's a bad look. The optics are bad, right, EJ Christian?
My favorite word. You know it.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Yeah. I look, the more I see him play, if the Jets decide to release him, I don't see another team out there picking him up at all. He doesn't bring anything positive to the team anymore. The defense in the past was like, oh well, he's a bit of a cancer, this and that, but he's that great. We'll take him in.
He's not anymore though.
That's the point. So if the Jets, his only chance to come back next year is that the Jets keep him another year because I don't see any other team even desperate enough to sign this guy.
Here's where Vegas screwed up. They should have kept Devontae and gotten Rodgers next year.
But Vegas is already in position to draft the quarterback anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Allegedly, right?
I mean,
the only reason why they're in position to draft the quarterback is because the Giants are more likely to go for Quentin Ewers, and the Jags don't need a quarterback. So, or maybe they do. More on that later.
They better not go for Quentin Ewers. Seriously, do not go for Quentin Ewers. Go after.
You're going to need to endure with Quentin Ewers.
No.
Are you hoping for a fresh start with Kyle Dart? Is that it?
I want Shador, or I want.
You're not getting Sanders in New York. That's not going to happen.
Why? He'll say not to go there.
A, B, I don't think if I'm Dion, I don't think Shador is ready for that big a light yet.
What about Cam?
What's that?
What about Cam Ward?
Oh, excuse me. You said Cam. I was still in the NFL. I'm like, what? Cam Ward's intriguing. I don't know if he's the answer, but he's intriguing. If you still had Saquon to develop him around, maybe.
Yeah, Joe Shane. Let him walk for $2 million more, dummy. Anyway, let's go to one more thing, and this is a little closer home for you. Was that Trevor Lawrence hit that on Sunday dirty? Yes or no?
So there are times where I absolutely hate the egregious nation for which you're clickbaiting. I know right now you posed the question that way just for the sake of a fucking TikTok video. Here's the problem. I have a big enough ego to give you exactly what the fuck you want. Okay? The nature of that hit is absolutely egregious and reckless. There are two key words that I use to describe that. Third, Azeez Al-Shaair, though I didn't know it at the time, and then I was reminded as I did more research, is a repeat offender.
Yeah.
This guy is a problem. He's not Vontez Perfect bad, and I know you remember that name, EJ Christian.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Shouts to Mike Byrne. But he's pretty bad. And when you have a player like that, Ernest, that has a C on their jersey, is a captain on that team, and they do something like that, I ask you what choice the NFL has but suspension and fining.
And which this morning we just found out 3 games.
Well, I'm also going to issue more on that later surrounding that too, because he's officially filed for appeal. I think it's highly likely it gets reduced to 2.
Yeah.
And while I can normally wax poetic, I think the best thing for me to do is to actually read the statement here that I happen to just pull up from the hip because I'm real good at my job.
Go ahead.
By Vice President of Football Operations for the NFL, John Runyon, right? Former Eagles lineman, by the way. Let's see. During your game against the Jacksonville Jaguars on December 1st with 4:20 remaining in the second quarter, you being Azeez Al-Shaair, right, were involved in a play that the league considers unacceptable and a serious violation of the playing rules. The video shows you striking the head neck area of Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence after he clearly goes down in a feet first slide. You led with your forearm and helmet and delivered a forceful blow to the head neck area of your opponent when you had time and space to avoid such contact. All completely accurate. After the illegal hit, you proceeded to engage in a brawl. Okay, that part's not really him. I'll get to that in a minute. Which you escalated when you pulled an opponent down to the ground by his face mask. This is the part where you get back to it being his fault. The referee announced that you were disqualified for the hit and your unsportsmanlike acts. You removed your helmet and re-engaged with the opponent while walking down across the field, which started another physical confrontation near the end zone. The one where Jarian Jones is probably going to get suspended for throwing a punch.
Right.
Your lack of sportsmanship and respect for the game of football and all those who play, coach, and enjoy watching it is troubling and does not reflect the core values of the NFL. Your continued disregard for NFL playing rules puts the health and safety of both you and your opponents in jeopardy and will not be tolerated. Close. Incredibly fucking accurate quote.
That's pretty bold. Pretty blunt statement there.
And it's all correct. Now, the only part I would push back on slightly is the part you proceeded to engage in a brawl. No, the fuck you didn't. You want to know what that sorry chump did? And I'd use other words, but, there's an actual human involved here. Mm-hmm. He does one of these. What did I do? Now, you may not have gotten much time to see it.
You did Draymond.
Because, well, you call that Draymond. I'll say what came next was a bit more Draymond, but in a good way. Yeah. I don't know. You're a hockey fan. Who's your favorite enforcer on the ice?
I don't know.
Yeah, you liar. So anyways, let's say Issa Tikkanen. You're allegedly a Rangers fan, right? Comes up from behind him. No, Mike Messier, right? Or Mark Messier.
Mark Messier.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
I'm sure you do, allegedly. One of your favorite Oilers, right? And no, I don't mean somebody that played with Eddie George.
Right. Wayne Gretzky.
Awful. Right, yeah, the Rangers, right?
Yeah.
And Mark
Oilers.
Messier style, Evan Ingram comes up behind him, Jacksonville Jaguars tied him, and cross-checks his sorry ass back into the turf. Now, I don't condone fighting on the football field. As a matter of fact, don't fight in my temple. Do not shed blood in the house of God, such that it is for we football fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I condone this because the message has to be sent to guys like this that make it more about the violence than the craft of football to be challenged and punished, because the rules aren't going to do it and haven't done it this far, EJ Christian. Evan Ingram did what he did, and I condone it. And further props to second-year tight end Brendan Strange getting involved in the same. Why am I not mentioning offensive linemen? Well, it was a boot counter to the protection. Now, if you want to argue it's a bad play call to leave the quarterback unprotected with an AC shoulder injury, that's a separate conversation. It doesn't make Azeez Al-Shaair's hit any less gross.
Right.
Dirty, no. Dirty is, I forget a good example at the moment. This was just disgusting. Now, I know people are like, ban him for life. Don't be stupid. Okay? Me calling Ernest a Trumper isn't racist, it's facts, okay? let's not ruin you big man. Let's not overreact too much here, okay? It was awful. It should be punished. It is punished, and he's going to have to do a nice little contribution to his favorite charity here when he's fined. Actually, yeah, he is fined, right?
Yeah.
So it's all those pieces that do it for me. Frankly, if I were the NFL, if I were the Ginger Hammer, Roger Goodell, I would have hit him with 5, knowing the NFLPA would get it reduced to 3. 2, I'll live with it.
All right, let's get to one of our.
I warned you in pre-show that was going to take a minute if you went that route.
It's fine. I'm okay with it. Let's go now to one of my favorite segments we do every so often, especially this time of year, because this is the time of year where we I call it the pennant time of the football season. Thanksgiving weekend, it's the final countdown, the final stretch of the year.
Rivalry week, if you will.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, it can't be called a national pastime if you're referencing Europe.
So,
you said final countdown. It's your fault.
Yeah, true. As I've been saying for the last couple of weeks now, the playoff picture in both conferences right now, I've never seen it so defined at this early.
Boy, it's been a minute, hasn't
it? And it's real. And honestly, it remains that way. So right now, for sake right now, for argument, AFC right now currently, we got 2 teams ready who have already clinched playoff berths. Both the Chiefs and the Bills have clinched playoff berths right now. They're
battling hard for the top seed. We'll put it that way.
They're 1 and 2 right now in the AFC. Number 3 is the Steelers leading the North. Number 4 is the Texans leading the South currently.
By default.
Right. Your 3 wild cards right now, 5, 6, and 7 in order are the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Broncos. In line or on the bubble, you have the Colts, who are 2 games behind at 8, and then the Dolphins, who are 3 games behind at 9. Kyle, there's no secret here. I think this whole picture's whether or not the seeding change between 1 and 2, or maybe the little wild card movement. I think the 7 teams in the AFC you see here right now currently are going to be the 7 teams we see in the playoffs in the AFC.
Like, have we ever seen it quite like this, where the most competitive part of the damn seeding is 1 and 2? Yeah. I can't remember that ever happening.
Crazy, right? Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time. No, I'm with you. I think the 7 teams you see here that are currently the playoff teams, regardless of seeding where they may be, these are the 7 teams going to playoffs in January.
I could make an argument that the Ravens moving 6 to 5 is in contention with that.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, without looking at the rest of the Chargers schedule, off the top, that might change my mind, but it's the most competitive portions of the chart are those.
Right. I'm going to lock all 7 teams into the playoffs. All in. I'm that confident right now that all 7
Go down a little bit more. Remind me the status of the 8th team.
The Colts are 2 games back.
Oh, it's the Colts. Yeah, no, fuck all that. Yeah, no, lock it in.
I'm with the Colts. So I'm locking all 7 teams at this point now. All right, NFC. That's easy. That part's easy. NFC right now. Currently,
next.
All right, yeah. Number 1 right now, currently the Lions, 11-1, leading the North. Number 2,
I am locking the Lions at 1.
Okay. Okay, I think we'll. Yeah. Number 2, the Eagles, at 10 and 2, leading the East.
I am locking the Eagles at 2.
I'm there too. 3, the Seahawks. I am.
No, you're not.
I don't trust.
No, the fuck you're not. You're not locking anything in the NFC West. You shut your ass.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing it yet. No. 4, the Falcons. Nope. Obviously.
Yeah.
Currently leading the South.
Boy, did they let the Bucks back in the game on that one, huh?
Yeah.
Jesus.
The 3 wild cards are now.
Kirk O'Chain's throwing 4 interceptions. What are we doing here?
5 through 7. 5 Vikings, 6 Packers, 7 Commanders. Here's what I'm doing, Kyle. I am locking the following playoff teams: Lions, obviously. Eagles, obviously. The Vikings, locking them up.
Are you locking them at 5?
Yes, because they're going to at least get, yeah.
Oh, 6 green toes down. Interesting. Okay.
Packers at 6. I'm locking them up there too, and the Commanders at 7. I think.
Well, if you're locking the Vikings at 5, 6 was implied with your 6 toes down. Ironically,
right.
I still think that there's a chance for the Packers to play the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. But
in case the Vikings actually do disappoint.
When I'm saying locking, I'm saying these are the teams I think are going to the playoffs regardless of where the seeding are at.
Yeah, you're being a wimp. I'm trying to involve the actual seedings as well to show a little bit of boldness in the takes.
Okay, yes. So yeah, I guys look at the schedule, all that. But yeah, I will lock these teams up honestly.
Who's and for the radio audience, who's 7 still? Is it the Red Tails?
Commanders, yeah.
See, that's isn't that a competitive spot at this point though, right? Like there's still room. I don't think we'll see a second NFC West team.
No, we won't. No.
I don't think that happens.
So right now,
the Bucks battling the Red Tails is fascinating.
On the bubble, Bucks 2 games behind, Cardinals 2 games behind, Rams 2 games behind,
done.
3 games behind. Here's the deal.
See, I'm doing the sizzle for the cooked sound.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Playoff wise, Lions, yes. Eagles, yes. Vikings, yes. Packers, yes. Commanders, yes. I got the Bucks picking playoffs as a win in the South.
So are you locking the Bucks at 4?
I won't lock them now because it's just still right now.
So yeah, I think we acknowledge that's still in competition. We referenced that.
I'm not locking the Falcons for that reason. I think the Bucks are going to win the South. So, and then the Seahawks, this week will go a long way. We'll see. But I don't trust them yet. Niners are out at this point now. Looks like it. The Rams are a game behind. So the Cardinals. I can't lock Seattle yet. I don't trust them.
You don't lock what?
I can't lock Seattle at all. I don't trust them just yet.
Certainly not.
West is wide open. But
I'm going to call my shot that a different bird takes the 7th spot.
Which bird is that?
I didn't identify, bitch. I said a different bird.
And I'm asking which one it is.
Is it a dirty bird? Is it a red bird? We don't know yet.
Interesting. Might be the Cardinals.
You see what I did there?
I like that. I like that. You're good at this.
Hashtag talent, baby.
All right, so there's your locks for this for week 14. We'll probably do this again next week as we get closer to the playoffs here. All right, let's get now to.
It's going to be a short segment when we do it for the AFC.
No, real quick. Reaction: Matt Eberflus fired by the Bears finally.
I mean, listen, I'm going to go for a full Morning Star on this show, on other shows, to my good friend Mark Moses on 1540 the Fan in Melbourne, on the Mark Moses show. As a Bears fan, on his show, I told him they should fire Eberflus and Chase Harbaugh. Not for nothing, he agreed with me, by the way.
We both said that.
We both said that.
On this show.
This isn't me going on Facebook and said, I said this and I was the only one that said it. I am football smart, like some people on this panel do. Right, EJ?
I don't care. I don't care. I honestly, he would have lasted till January. I think his response to the last play of the game got him fired. His response was probably worse than the play itself, honestly.
Maybe.
He has defended the play call. Unbelievable.
Well, no, I can't go that far. I did. On that same note, though, after the game where the Chargers ended up winning the day, hearing Coach Harbaugh talk about the defense bailing him out for making the head-scratching fake punt that failed,
Mm-hmm.
He publicly saying, they saved me from a play, quote, I wish I had back.
Yeah.
Man, Jim Harbaugh for president, bitches.
I said it in January after
Jim
Michigan
Harbaugh,
title.
Harbaugh on a national ticket.
It made sense because, like, number one, he has history there. He was drafted by the fucking team, crying out loud. Like, come on. But again, Bears are going to bear because they're stupid. So anyway,
it would be difficult to run a red candidate in California, but technically speaking, now Harbaugh's a blue candidate because he's coaching the Chargers instead of the Niners. It's just technically a powder blue candidate. See what I did there?
I mean, we put it that way, yeah, of course.
Go
anyway.
Chargers, go!
All right, time to look at the last 8 top 25 rankings of the regular season here. Hold on. Trade in charge. What is this? Apple shit here. Get out of here. Thank you. All right, here we go. 25.
We have to do this.
We go through it quickly.
Memphis at 25. Listen, I've always respected that program. I'm not mad at it. Let's show the Americans some love. They're certainly been proven to be better than the ACC. Am I right? Moving on.
I agree. 24 Army up one spot.
Sure. I don't like it, but what can I do about it? Granted, they do have a quality loss allegedly against a Notre Dame team.
Okay. All right, 23 Syracuse.
Ridiculous, but I know why they're here.
22 up 2 spots, Missouri.
Asinine. What are we doing? I mean, I know that I never criticize SEC teams when I actually do plenty, just people refuse to listen to it. But yeah, Mizzou being in the top 25 is puzzling to me. I agree.
21 up 1 spot, Illinois.
The only thing more puzzling to me is Illinois on this list, and the fact that I will probably have to endure them here in a local bowl game in Orlando. I believe it would be the Citrus Bowl or the Cheez-It Bowl, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, however the hell they're titling it. That's the one I'll be covering them out. For which outlet we'll see soon enough.
You like Cheez-Its, by the way?
Cheez-Its are bomb. I just can't eat them anymore.
Why?
Bitch, you know why.
Oh, okay. Damn it. I snuck some in recently. All right, 20 up 3 spots, Colorado.
Love it. I think 20 is a good spot for them.
Yep.
Shame they lost that game.
Yeah, sucks. Up 2 spots, 19, UNLV.
I don't like this. I'm not a fan of them inside the 20. I would rather put Colorado at 19 and them at 20. Maybe you could sell me, but beyond that, no.
Down 6 spots at 18, Clemson.
Well, I'll give EJ what he wants. What the fuck are we doing here?
What
are we doing here with Clemson at 18? Why are they in the top 25? It's complete trash.
To 9-3, that's why. All right.
Shut up. 9-3 playing your mom, just like Indiana. I digress.
Up 2 spots, number 17, BYU.
Yeah, them at 17 feels high, but I like them in the top 20.
Right. Up 1 spot, number 16, Iowa State.
16 feels really high, but I like them in the top 20.
At 15, Ole Miss.
It feels high, but then again, in such a wacky year, it's really kind of hard to place them. I love that they're ahead of Mizzou. Let me get that right.
Percentage chance they make the playoff. Percentage chance.
15, very low.
Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. Okay, cool. Down 6 spots, 14, UM.
And it's not enough.
I agree.
It's not enough. Maybe put them at 20, put them behind. Yes, I'm going to say it. Put them behind Colorado even, I could argue, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Miami hasn't played anybody. And then they lose to Georgia Tech. And I know, Georgia, 8 overtimes. I get it. But you lost to the Orangemen convincingly. No.
The defense sucks. By the way, I would say their defense being so bad as it has been all year long actually strengthens Cam Ward's Heisman argument.
It should. It won't. Heisman voters are not that smart.
Yeah, they're not gonna. Yeah, but
the only Heisman voter I know that's smart, personally, is the Orlando Sentinels' Matt Murschel, who will be on the Student of the Game this week.
By the way, I percentage chance might makes the playoff.
10.
Yeah, I think it's very small. I think it's like
a 3-loss SEC team should get in ahead of a 2-loss Miami. Period. Point blank. End of story.
And that team will be a couple spots ahead of them. So we got 3-loss SEC team, up 3 spots. 13, South Carolina.
Honestly, I don't think that's the right team. I think
agree.
Ole Miss personally is better than South Carolina, but I kind of see the resume and the gymnastics involved.
Right.
I really don't, but
I really don't.
let's just say the committee has made worse mistakes. More on that later.
All right, 12 up 2 spots, Arizona State.
Oh, how nice of them to acknowledge playing in the Power 5 is harder than the G5 by putting a Big 12 team at 12.
Right. All right, up 2 spots, number 11, Alabama.
I know the world hates it. I don't have a problem with it.
Either. Up 1 spot, number 10, Boise State.
This is kind of gross. They should be at 12 behind Bama and Arizona State.
Oh.
And just the whole thing with Boise State getting to play a literal G5 schedule and have one quality loss against a team that's played a bunch of overrated stiffs, looking at you, Penn State and Indiana, as overrated stiffs, and arguably Ohio State. More on that later. Yeah, this is trash that they're 10.
Right.
That being said, it's not too trashy. If I move it 2 spots, we're good, right?
All right. Up 1 spot, number 9, Indiana, speaking of.
I lied. They should be 12.
Damn. All right. Up 1 spot, SMU, number 8.
I hate that an ACC team is this high. I love that it's a former American team humiliating that conference in a way we haven't seen since Notre Dame did it so beautifully. Granted, Trevor Lawrence was hurt as part of it, and DJ Uiagalelei was an issue. Not that there's any Knowles fans that can validate that. Oh, hi, EJ. How are you?
Yeah.
At least I acknowledge you as a Knowles fan.
That's true.
So yeah,
You're half right there. Good job.
I'll put it this way: SMU being ahead of Indiana, of Boise State, of Arizona State might make sense, and ahead of Alabama because they have 3 losses. I can see it. I'll tell you what, to really solidify themselves, they really need to win their conference championship. If they blow that, they shouldn't fall out of the entire playoff. But if the ACC were completely knocked out of the playoffs because of that, is what should happen. It won't. They'll sneak Miami in if that happens, and that would be a true crime against America.
Right. All right. Down 5 spots, number 7, Ohio State.
Is that enough, do you think?
I mean, I can see dude.
I don't dislike it, is what I'm saying. But again, the problem we have is the Big Ten is so overrated this year.
Let me ask you a question. Ryan Day, so he lost Michigan for fourth year in a row. What is the benchmark for him to save?
It's not that he just lost for the 4th year in a row. Let me be clear.
Yeah.
This 4th year, there was no excuse to lose that football game.
I agree, 100%.
That's the problem.
So my question,
listen, I know Ohio State fans are nutty about the Michigan game and vice versa. This is a problem for them. I'm not saying fire him. I'm saying it's fireable unless he cancels it out with a national championship. Spoiler, not going to happen.
What if he at least gets there?
No, not enough.
He needs to win it all, right, to save his job.
Yes.
Okay, sounds fair enough. All right, up 1 spot, number 6, Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay. I think this and the next team should be each a spot higher, and I know someone's going to get mad at me for it, but that's where I stand.
Okay. Up 1 spot, number 5, Georgia.
Well, actually, excuse me. More than two spots higher, not just one.
Right. All right. 1 spot. Number 5, up 1 spot, Georgia. Same thing you said, right? Up higher.
Should also go 2 spots higher.
All right. Number 4, up 1 spot.
I know. 8 overtimes, Georgia Tech, blah, blah, whatever.
Yeah. Number 4, Notre Dame. Up 1 spot.
They should host a playoff game. They should not be 4th in the nation. Actually, I can make the argument that they shouldn't host, but I understand that play on the field does need to matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, number 3, up 1 spot, Penn State.
What the fuck are we doing
here? Yep. I agree.
The fact that they're top 10 is a goddamn crime. Like, they're ranked this high against Indiana. I don't get it. Like, where's Indiana again? Remind me.
But can you justify...
Where is Indiana again? Remind me.
9.
Okay. 9 and 10 back-to-back, these two teams. They're the same thing!
Here's my question. Can you justify putting a 3-loss team ahead of them?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm asking the question. So, number 2, one up.
By the way, I don't have to put a 3-loss team again ahead of them. I have Notre Dame, who I have questions about. I have Georgia. I have Tennessee. All 3 teams should be above them.
How low should they go then? This question.
I told you 9 and 10. Did I not?
See, that would require at least a 2-loss team to go ahead of them.
I think 2 2-loss teams should go ahead of them.
Fair enough. All right, up one spot. Number 2, Texas.
I can see a defense made for them being lower.
But then who you put there? Georgia and Tennessee?
You can't do it.
Exactly.
And that's the issue, right? This is the part where some element of play on the field matters. I think the biggest problem is with all the hullabaloo in the SEC, the Longhorns kind of escaped to an extent. I'll put escaped in air quotes. It's interesting that they're counting the quality loss to a Georgia team who's 5th to justify them to be at 2. So if people are wonky about the physics, I understand it. The problem you have is that the ACC and the Big Ten are so diluted. Who do you put that belongs there more? Are you going to put a team that lost to the G5 and has 4 G5s on their schedule ahead of Texas? Does that make sense? Right?
That's what you're saying.
It's the people say you're penalizing the other teams. No, you're rewarding the SEC. And in the words of the great and mighty Colorado homer Joel Klatt, and rightly so.
Georgia's the only team has a conversation to be there because they beat them. They beat them head-to-head in Texas.
Then I mean this with all the respect I can muster once again. What the fuck are we doing here?
Exactly.
I'm not mad at an Oregon, Georgia, Texas
order
top 3.
Right.
Oh, 8 overtimes. Get the fuck over yourself. Okay. Did they lose to a G5 team? No. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Have they played anybody other than a bunch of trash teams? Looking at you, Penn State. No.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. If I'm telling you, I understand why they're ranked the way they're ranked. We get all why they're doing it. If you're asking me who are the best teams,
no, why are they doing it, EJ? You tell me.
I think the record's playing a big part in this.
It's playing too big a part.
Yeah.
The whole reason we built the playoff format was to give better accounting of strength of schedule, and it is not happening. If you're mad at teams getting 2 games worth of grace and you don't want a 3-loss team in the top 4, you could kind of sell me on that. There is no excuse for a 1-loss team with a shit schedule to get more consideration than a 2-loss team playing in the best conference in college football.
Right. Of course, one is Oregon, 12-0. I mean, look.
On the strength of one thing, undefeated. You and I both know they're frauds. You and I both know their quarterback's a fraud. You and I both know that their schedule is easy, but they're undefeated, and that's it. And that weight of them being undefeated has so much mightiness on it that Boise State lost to them by 3 points and has an entirely G5 schedule and is in the top 10. The fuck are we doing here?
What are we doing here? I don't know what we're doing here, buddy. What else I got here? Oh yeah, I want to. Me being a Seminoles fan, it's just sacrilege to do this in the first place. But I have to shout out the Gators for a 7-5 season. Remember, the overall number was 4.5. We did a preview on the show back in August.
You said under.
We both said under, I think, actually.
Did we? I don't remember if I did. That's why I'm not calling myself out.
Because of that schedule.
But they got better a lot late. Now, granted, part of that was me thinking that UCF was going to be far better than they were.
Yeah.
And boy, did KJ Jefferson disappoint. That's a lot of the reason why Gus Malzahn is in FSU right now.
But even some of those 5 losses they have this year, lost to Georgia, close game, up nip and tuck to the end. The Tennessee game, nip and tuck to the end. Billy Napier, look, I am not sitting here praising the Gators. I'm a Seminoles fan. I hate the Gators more than life itself. But I got to give Bill Napier did a damn good coach job this year with that team. I have to shout him out for that, honestly. So
yeah, no, and that's the reason why he's keeping his job. Florida's AD said
and
weeks
rightly
ago.
So.
Oh, look at you hitting the clad, EJ Christian. You got a bell for that class.
That's right. That's right. All right, quickly before we get out of here, last thing, let's quick preview, quick picks for the conference championship weekend. Let me start here. The ones that matter, really, more than anything else. I'm gonna go with all this stuff. Big 12 title game. Iowa State at Arizona State. Who wins?
I think Bo Scadaboo being back in the game is going to change the element of this game. And we saw a team in UCF nearly beat the Cyclones with a good ground attack and less than 100 yards passing. I think Arizona has the ability to be more balanced and be a bigger problem. I'm a Matt Campbell stan. Let me be clear. What he's built in Ames, Iowa is amazing. And the fact that he has stayed there through what has to be more lucrative offers is just goddamn commendable. This guy needs to be canonized for sainthood, at least within the state of Iowa, certainly within the city limits of Ames. But I don't see them winning the conference. If they do, boy, it would be a great shot in the arm for the Iowa State Cyclones.
All right, SEC title game, Georgia, Texas, round 2. This is tough.
I looked at it a certain way and it felt off when I saw it initially. And then the great Joel Klatt, Colorado homer as he is, broke it down to where it came down to a few key mistakes. Georgia might have been exposed that day. Texas might have been exposed that day, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We're getting a closer game at the least. I can make a strong argument that Georgia wins that game, and I think I'm going to do that.
Texas hasn't looked good in a couple weeks though. Either.
Not particularly, but they and Georgia both play down to their opponents. You notice that?
That's very true.
How can we talk shit on how the Longhorns have looked lately when I could come right back and say Georgia Tech 8 overtimes? Nobody cares about, divisional, in-state rivalries and all like that, like they used to, even though they matter to the teams playing them. We as analysts don't credit that the same way we used to. It's why traditions all over the country don't hold the same weight. Somebody out there is lamenting about the Apple Bowl in Washington, right? Like no one else gives a shit, but to them, that's why Texas Tech's a big game. That's why the Iron Bowl with Auburn and Alabama is a big deal. This is another one of those style of games that we may not care about nationally, but Georgia Tech's been a big deal locally to them. Part of the reason why that went the way it went. So again, proof both teams play down to their opponent. What better proof do you have than 8 overtimes?
Yep, exactly that. AC title game, Clemson versus SMU. Who wins?
America needs SMU to win so bad, don't they?
I agree.
And by the way, I do think SMU wins the day. I don't believe in Clemson. They're frauds. They might be if they resided in Georgia, they'd be more fraudulent than the Falcons.
That's a lot because Falcons are.
I said what I said.
Yes, right. And finally, Big Ten title game, Penn State and Oregon. Can Penn State pull it off?
First of all, let's understand, I'm not watching this game.
Okay.
Because it would put me in a position to have to cheer for Dylan Gabriel, that fraud, and I'm not doing it.
However,
I'll throw a bone for my guys, Mike Bernier and Jim Neese. Quack, quack, motherfucker. Isn't it so crazy? As critical as I am of Oregon, I'm the guy that coined that.
Oh, anyway. Real quick, we got you out of here. One more thing. What's your thoughts on flag? You see all weekend teams went on the road, taking the school's flag and putting on the middle of the field. People get mad about that. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it does show an amount of disrespect by a visiting team to stick a flag in the logo. They know what the fuck they're doing. Like you've seen Pulp Fiction, right?
Of course.
And you know how the initial for you children out there, Pulp Fiction is a movie that mommies and daddies like to watch that involves gangsters and Samuel L. Jackson saying the term motherfucker
over and over and over and over and over again. Yep.
It's not as if we're complaining, but
I'm not.
beginning of the movie features a conversation between a cohort of theirs that isn't ever on screen in Tony Rockihara, I think his name is, who gets pushed out a window for allegedly giving the big boss's wife a foot massage. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. a foot massage is relatively innocent on the surface. Is it the same as expletive, filled explicit language that I'm not comfortable saying in a public setting, even though it is the Earnestly Speaking podcast? Is it the same as perhaps sleeping with a young lady, or let's just say touching inappropriate portions of her anatomy? No, but there's an intimacy involved, and both of them know it. Is stabbing a flag into the logo of a home team's stadium on their field an egregious act worthy of police action and vandalism? No. But the level of disdain and respect is acknowledged by both parties, and both of them knew it, and the visiting team should have fucking well known better, in the words of John Travolta. So, yeah, I think it is egregious. Granted, you'll have to take my point of view as a semi-pro football player into consideration for an element of bias there.
I guess.
But
I don't know, man. I think it's petty shit. Maybe it's me from another angle.
It is petty. That's what started it.
I think it's petty, dude. It doesn't bother me though. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. Ohio State getting mad about that. How about you show the same kind of fire on the fucking 60 minutes of the field? Sorry, I'm sorry.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't bother you because you seek the drama. You find that entertaining.
Chaos
and
is fun.
With all due respect, you're a musician, not a football player.
No, I play in high school, but no, I'm a musician. Good point. It doesn't bother me. Like, okay, it's a flag. Get over it. It's a fuck. Maybe I'm. I don't know. This doesn't bother me. The reactions was kids getting maced on the fucking field.
Is the reaction extra? Thoroughly.
Yeah.
But the people in charge who let that happen are the problem. If I'm coaching a college football team and they do that, it's like, we don't need that shit. Okay? Can we beat them on the football field? Can we just show them we're better that way and humiliate them between the numbers while the clock's running?
Oh man, I thought it was petty, but whatever.
That's the point. It is fucking petty.
They're gonna outlaw it anyway. Start next year, I'm sure. So
and they kind of have to too. Like these incidents are out of control.
It's egregious. It's egregious at this point now. Anyway, Kyle.
I support those brawls far less than I do the one that took place in defense of Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville.
Right. All right, buddy. Plug away. That's a great one.
Yeah, man. Honor, joy, and privilege. Glad you found it within your heart to bring me back and overcome your guilt of skipping me over Thanksgiving. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, I wasn't bothered that much because I know you feel thankful to have me on your show. Of course, let's do the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. That's right. I have that BS. At the SOTG. Check out also me on Facebook as Let's Do the Game. Check out my writings with the Fans First Sports Network covering the Orlando Magic and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to drop it. I got to write another Magic article here thing too. I've been behind on it. They're 3-0 in the damn Emirates NBA Cup, bro.
I'm so happy for the Magic, man. Even without Paulo,
without Paulo, they're kicking that ass. You know what they were before last night's game, Earnest Christian?
What?
They had the same record they had this time last year, and they're doing it without Paolo Banchero. And also, by the way, missing starting center Wendell Carter Jr. for a time. There is no more difficult outing as far as dealing with defense and physical prowess than the Orlando Magic in the NBA right now. Period. Point blank. End of story.
They have currently a 6-game winning streak and number 3 right now currently in the East. Good job, guys. Good job.
By the way, still undefeated at home, bitches.
Yeah. Impressive stuff, man. Really.
Hey, at least I'm covering one winning team. And also check out, of course, Wednesday night. I already cited Matt Marshall of the Orlando Sentinel will be on the Student of the Game podcast. It starts at 9:05 Eastern on Wednesday. Make sure you come in. I will also have a bit of a protege of mine from the past, former UCF student, current producer at 1010XL in Jacksonville, RJ Saunders will be aboard, talking some NBA hoop stuff there too. Might want to check this diaper dandy out there, EJ Christian. If you're refusing to bring on my guy, Philip Rossman Reich of Locked On Magic, maybe you'll like RJ. I don't know. But yeah, you can check all that on the Student of the Game, and we'll get in even more in depth on the incident from Houston on the Duval Dive, 7:30 Wednesday on the Duval Dive YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe, by the way. I'll be talking about that, Walker Little's extension that dropped on Sunday, how that impacts the Jags. And, well, eventually we do have to talk football. We'll also give you a prediction for the game Sunday. And that should do it. By the way, Night Shift podcast dropped last night. Make sure you check that out. Black and Gold Banner at YouTube channel. We'll be talking about not only Gus Malzahn and the search for the new coach. Very interesting conversations happening there. You can check out me and the crew talking about that, as well as UCF basketball. And for you diehards, the amazing development at for the volleyball coach for UCF. Yeah, all of these tie together. It's a crazy thing. Black and Gold Banneret. Make sure you check it out, blackandgoldbanneret.com. Also, any pieces that drop in relation to the coaching search for UCF will probably be penned by yours truly also on the Black and Gold Banneret.com. By the way, like and subscribe to the Black and Gold Banneret YouTube channel if you want some updates from that area of college football. We're this close to 1,000 subscribers. Make it happen. I need more revenue. I need more interns to help me the hell out. So, yeah, that should do everything on the gambit. Thank you for having me back, EJ Christian. I hope I didn't anger too many people as the voice of reason here. But until next time, everyone, class dismissed.